This lesson's all about metadata. Sounds pretty cyberpunk, but really, it's just like what we did in the last video when we created an SPL token. I still haven't finalized the token's name, the logo. So in this lesson, we're going to polish up all these details. That's why you noticed we didn't record anything in the last video. It's just that with this SPL token, the CL, I too can input that info. So I looked online and found some stuff about it. I found two solutions for updating SPL token info. One way is to check their official GitHub, where there's a repo called Solana Labs. In there, there's something called token list, which used to have info about your token. Person create a JSON file that includes the name, symbol, the image URL, then upload it and merge it into the repository, so the other party's admin will review it. Once they give the green light, your info will be added to the official Solana records. But this whole thing involves manual review. It sounds like there's not much urgency here. I guess I'm just tired of it. Before we get into that, just so you know, the plan was cancelled back in July 2022. So right now, there's another option. We can use this Metaplex to upload the metadata onto the blockchain and store it in IPFS. This plan sounds pretty solid. There are a lot of tools online that actually use this approach. I've noticed some websites doing the same thing. There are also those TG bots. They offer services like this too. You could even say if you're pretty good, you could create a website for it. Create one to help others by uploading the token's name and image to the Solana blockchain for a service website. We can definitely do that with Metaplex, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Today, let's focus on uploading the logo and the name. Before we dive into that, we need to install Node.js first. You can head to their official website for the ones that aren't installed. But just a heads up, don't install the version 20. We'll go for an older version instead. The one I have here is. I'm trying to install version 16. 19. 1. I just tried version 14, but that didn't work. I also gave version 20 a shot, but it ran into a communication issue. I tested it out later. E15, V16, 18 all work fine. If you want to avoid any mistakes, just do exactly what I did. You'll be good. Also, some of my friends just watched my video. If you haven't installed any code editors, I suggest you watch all our previous videos first. Alright. But before we dive in, let's take a look at the entire code first. I've already simplified it. It's just 52 lines long. This 52 lines can handle a token name. We also need to update this symbol in the URL. The first 5 lines are our imported libraries. Most of these dependencies are the Metaplex we just talked about. They have some official libraries, plus the Solana Web3, JS. Then over here in lines 15 to 9, this part is where it loads the wallet key. Our key is pretty easy to work with too. Check out line 19 here. There's a 3G3 JS file. That's my wallet's private key file. We're going to read that file and use this Web3 key pair to load it up. So basically, we just need to drag this private key file into the project folder. We're all set. But how do we generate that private key file? It's pretty easy. We just open the wallet on SoLPG. Where we can export our private key. You can name it whatever you want. Once you've exported it, just drag it over here. Just change the name here to whatever you want. It's just a name for the wallet file. Then, if you look from line 18 to line 53, that's all the main function stuff. So we just need to run this index file from the main folder once. It'll automatically run the main function, like here. So basically, it's about loading this wallet, which is for the new token we created. Here, we're creating one and connecting it to the Solana development network. So it's like an instance of the DevNet. If we're changing the token logo or the token name for the mainnet, just paste the mainnet RPC here. That's it. The green part is just my comment. They also created a signer object for later blockchain transactions. It's basically for signing things that will go on the chain. That's pretty much what the code means. Let's define the metadata for a token here. We should clarify what these names are. You can put in whatever name you want to change it to. As for me, since it's just a test, I'll just throw in a random name like test token. I could even shorten it to TT or TTT. Whatever works. What's your name? This URI isn't an image, it's actually a JSON file from the original data chain. What does that mean? It's pretty interesting. Let me show you. So, in this file is like this. You need to upload it to a link. Once it's up there, every time I open that link, I can access it. That's all. There are tons of ways to do it. For instance, we could go to a website that's specifically designed to store images and files. Let's store it on IPFS for free. I wouldn't recommend anything that costs money, only the free stuff. So, let's go ahead and register. After you register, We can upload files like images and JSON to this place. Then we'll get a link. Just write this link back here. And then how do we create this JSON? How do we make this JSON? We just copy it and then create a JSON file. Just save the empty JSON file here and feel free to rename it however you want. I've already changed everything on my end, so I don't need to mess with it anymore. You need to upload stuff like the name. So the short name. The as in the introduction. The image. For the logo image. That also needs to go into Pinata. Just create a link and drag it right in there. No problem at all, I've done it before. Just drag it over here. It'll work fine. So, that's my icon right there. When you switch it over to this, it creates a link like this for you. If we click on it, you can see there's a link right here. After copying, we just go to the JSON file and paste it here to save it. We already have a test.et metadata JSON file. Just drag it back here. It creates a new link for you again. We just put that link in the URL. So, this URL is for our metadata JSON file link, which is what we're talking about here. The links to the images inside, they're good, so I'll just delete them myself. Alright, once these are set up. Then, once we've got all links set up, we move on to the next step. When he's compiled all that data, he will then plug the on-chain data into it. After that, so he uses that tool we just talked about, Metaplex, to create a transition ID. Once that ID is on the blockchain, our icon will be updated instantly. Alright, let's give it a shot. Alright, before we get started, let's grab the dependencies we need from the internet. Just copy this command here, then paste it into the terminal and press enter to automatically install it. Since we relinquished the upgrade authority for our token yesterday, we now need to mint a new token. So, I'll speed things up here, create a token account, mint the token with this quantity, the token account at the end. Alright, it should be ready now. As we can see, is the new token we just created. Next, we'll take the address of this token and put it here. Save it and run the process. Okay, it's successfully running. No, let's go back here and check the token. Great, we can see the test token and its logo. We've successfully updated everything.